Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to those of you around the world. Welcome to the daily Trade the Chain crypto update, where we give you everything you need to know for the next 24 hours and hopefully the next few days. Today is Tuesday, August 1st. We are at the top of a brand new month. And DXY has been ripping. We've been talking about this a lot on Trading Rebellion, in the GTC community, and of course on the daily crypto update. And we've just been zooming higher towards this resistance we've had marked out for quite some time at 102.4. Obviously, price typically will relax around resistance, but it's still hanging in strong. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little pullback to kind of the 102, 101.8 area. But if it does get above this 102.4 area, it also has confluence with the 12-hour estimated 200 moving average, which has been a key player over the past couple of months, as you can see here, lifting above before breaking back below, and then two rejections in early July, which sent us much lower. So if we do see a rejection here and we do not hold the 101.8, that's likely good for risk markets, as that would be kind of the catalyst to add some bullishness back into the mix. Then, of course, if it reclaims 102.4, meaning it breaks above and holds that level, then we're probably going to end up moving up towards this 103.6 level, which is where these rejections were previously. So I have a feeling we're more likely than not going to end up grabbing this liquidity as we head into August and September. But the tricky part is, does it come down and does it drop to 101.8 first? Or, am I completely wrong? Does it just reject off this level and then careen back to 101 or possibly lower? So just something to keep in your mind there. But obviously, this moving higher has certainly impacted the risk markets. Equities are not moving higher, and crypto is obviously moving lower. So thinking about equities, this is the TTC, what we gave this morning. A quick bounce off of the lower level early this morning, but unfortunately has just kind of still been hovering at this 49 or 45.91 level. It also coincides with the 1 hour estimated 200 moving average, which has been a bit of a player throughout this whole rise. We've been above it since very early July. We obviously dropped beneath it, and then as soon as we traded above it, we've pretty much been above it this entire time. This was the FOMC volatility. So, drip under, but, this was a nice little deviation underneath the 1 hour the 1 hour estimated 200 moving average. So that's what you look for bullish plays. And obviously that played out. So the fact that it's hovering here and forming several wicks beneath, or I should say above the 1 hour estimated 200 moving average, is certainly some wind in the sails for the bulls. But obviously, there's only so long you can trade in this area without trying to retest higher liquidity before it may drop. So obviously, if it keeps just forming wicks and you're just kind of dropping down here, eventually, kind of like the same with Bitcoin, is lack of volatility, lack of trading interest will typically lead to lower prices. So you do want to see a strong reaction, I'd say at least back up to 46.06, which is the VWAP, which, again, seeing a lot of rejections off that over the past several hours. That's what you want to see. So definitely good preliminarily. I think if you wanted to place a trade, your stop would be literally right here, and then you'd be entering here, and you'd be playing for this target first, and then this target second, and then possibly higher if you can, if price flows that way. So pretty easy risk reward here, but I'm not going to play this. I don't think it looks that pretty, but it is there. And so price closing above this liquidity right here, it's certainly a good thing. So the setup's there. I'm not taking it, but you're more than welcome to, or fade me if you'd like, but I wouldn't fade myself just based on the technical setup until it broke beneath these wicks, because anytime you see several wicks like that, it will typically end up returning to the top level liquidity or possibly higher. So just something to consider, not 100%, but that's how we look at it. So looking at Bitcoin, I think, if you're confused, you're just like me. We definitely predicted on, Sunday's B3 radio, we told everybody that we were going to take a trade down to a 28.8, with the main goal of the trade being this sweep right here. We obviously did get that sweep last night, but price action was extremely weak. And obviously we had another sweep this morning. And so typically, this type of candle is where you want to get long. And I did get long right around exactly like 28.8, maybe 28.20. So I'm currently sitting at a Bitcoin long, and then I'll get to Ethereum, but I did take a Matic short, and I'll explain that a little bit right around when Bitcoin was rejecting off of this 29K level, just as kind of like a hedge. So I am currently long Bitcoin, and I am currently short Matic. So we'll see how that ends up with today. But obviously, I would probably prefer to stay long Bitcoin and then close Matic if it gets back to entry, or maybe slightly higher, just in case we see a little bit of wonky volatility. But I mean, if you're thinking about what we told the TTC community today, if you can hold basically where the bodies of these candles right here, you'll probably end up flowing to this 29.1 level, which is coincides with the weekly VWAP, and it's also it's the top of where we ran on that June 20th date. So this is kind of a sneaky wick to use as support. But if you're paying close attention, it's working well, and it was actually literally the support for our Monday range yesterday, which I also thought was fascinating. So sometimes line drawing is imperfect, but we do it pretty well at TTC. So we definitely so if you're thinking about the trade ideas, we grabbed 29.1, right? So we didn't, and we got rejected off it. Now it's got a Darth Maul wick, so it could still certainly head higher. And if you're kind of thinking about just trading off the candlestick perspective, so I'm not ready to close my long yet. But I will say if it gets back up to this level and rejects again, I'll probably close my long, maybe flip short, because you've got all of this liquidity right here, right? And then you've got this wick right here, right? So if we and you've got it right here. So the fact that we broke through, we didn't have like a beautiful sweep, and we're not looking pretty on reclaiming this level, which you really need to reclaim 29.1, because look, this is our range, right? This is the giant range. We're trading now beneath the range, but we did have a sweep beneath the range, and we are trying to trade back up it. So if we can't trade back up it, this will be our new range. It'll be like 28.5 all the way up to 29.1, which is kind of the similar scenario for 29 to up to 29.5. So if we get rejected at 29.1 again, that'll be likely our new range, and you could probably play shorts down to 28.5 as it ping pongs around here. Maybe it goes lower, but I still think you're probably better off playing level to level, because we do have some interesting data coming up. We have CPI next week. We have the first deadline for the SEC approval on August 13th. So there's, over the next couple of weeks, we do have a lot going on, and I wouldn't expect price to just immediately drop if it were to. So it's probably just going to mess with us, I should say. I mean, I'm not immune to getting messed with on the charts. But it's going to be level to level trading. As you can see here, we spent more than a week sitting in here. We could spend another week, doing this same kind of motion. Where I'm, thinking about, lower prices, but, if we end up reclaiming 29.1 and it goes higher. So there's a million and one ways. And we could also, if it gets above 29.1, it could do a repeat of this right here too, where it kind of grabs 29.3, 29.2.5, and then it just drops right back below the range, and it captures a bunch of longs right here that are now trapped. So that's something to also be aware of. So I wouldn't get too crazy with longs and shorts, but anytime I do see, a big wick like this, I do buy. And I will admit, I was long this morning and I got stopped out, and so I said, you know what, that's kind of the trade that I was looking for. I was trying to play this sweep right here, and I wanted to get higher from that, and obviously it stop hunted me, so I took the additional long again, and now I'm sitting decent. So the moral of the story for Bitcoin is get above 29.1. Now you're back in this range. Reject off 29.1, probably going to end up, trading in between 28.5 and 29.1. Well, that's not exactly 29.1, but 29.1 for the, next week or so. Something to be considerate there. Looking at ETH, same thing with Bitcoin. The Darth Maul wick. Darth Maul candle for the last hourly, big sweep. This is the tweezer, this crazy tweezers right here. Technically it's a tweezer because you got the two wicks right here, but big sweep right here. You obviously swept the low from yesterday too. So it would make sense that it heads higher. I didn't long ETH. I just feel more comfortable with Bitcoin just based on how the SEC situation is playing out. Bitcoin is still, not a security. It's still safe. So I am playing that. But for Ethereum, Again, if unable to break above the 1837 level, which was our number based on the high from last night. Obviously, big wick up here, rejection. Now it's going to try and get back up to that level again. So if we get rejected at 1845, which is the weekly VWAP, we'll probably get sent back to this level. So I'm gonna get rid of these because these are obviously there's new price action. So basically, this is tough to trade in because you already have the wick. So I probably wouldn't recommend any lower time frame trades unless you really are feeling some conviction. So basically what it needs to do is flip this level right here and then move higher. And if it gets rejected again at this level, it's going to come right back to this level. And then if it drops below, just trying to get rid of this. If it drops below the support level, 1828 again, it'll probably do the same thing, as these wicks, but we may not get another wick. It could just come straight down to 1806. So something to be aware of. Again, there are lower trading volumes. There is a lack of volatility. We're obviously got some volatility now, but I'm not expecting it to just stay here forever. I think it's going to be intermittent. I don't think you're going to get every single day with beautiful trade setups and opportunities. And even when you do think it's a beautiful trade setup and opportunity, it's definitely going to be difficult. So I would definitely be careful with your trades. Maybe take just a couple a week. Don't try to do it every day. The market makers are definitely gonna try and make trading as painful as possible. But again, remember, we have unemployment Friday, we have CPI next week. On August 13th, we have the ETF, this is the first ETF deadline for ARK. And so that will be all volatile events and possibly, volatile heading into those events as well. So another trade that I'm in that I took it because we had this rejection off both the VWAP as well as the 15-minute estimated trend moving average. If you look at the hourly, it definitely closed a little bit better than what I expected when I did enter the short. But as soon as it came below the weekly VWAP, took that short. Now I'm sitting in that. So I'm currently long Bitcoin and I'm short Matic. If Matic gets above the weekly VWAP, I'm out of the Matic short. I'll hold the Bitcoin long. So I'm in profit on both right now. And if the market heads higher, I make money. If the market heads lower, I make money. So I'm in a really good position right now. And so I'm just going to stay patient. But I will say I was expecting, a little bit more ugliness from this candle. And now it's kind of forming the classic, classic lower time frame bull flag. Now, this wick is still worrisome. It is very rare that, assets form wicks like this. And the reason I took it is because last time we did similar, look what ended up happening over the next, couple of days and hours. So that's kind of my thesis there. Of course, trading on, it's an imperfect system. It doesn't, just because it rejects off the VWAP doesn't mean buyers can't buy and get it back above the VWAP. So that's why, that's where the stop loss is. And so I'm basically trying to play this market as intelligent as possible because, and maybe I'm getting too cute or too smart for it, but I think what you need to be doing right now is, with this insane volatility, I mean, if you're not closing trades, you're getting all of your money taken away from you, so like, if you shorted this and you didn't close, you're like, oh, this is going to head lower. Well, there were several hours where you were basically back to break even. And that's worrisome as a trader, because what if it cracks above the VWAP on a crazy buy, and then you're now losing money where you just made, 5-10% on a trade. So it's best to just take your money off the table. Don't do crazy swings. And especially if there is reversals or you are sitting pretty in a trade, like a long, and then you see a rejection like this, it is never a bad idea to throw a hedge in. So if you're like, the reason that I chose this is because I loved this wick right here, and I'm never going to not buy this type of action. And obviously we got here, and then I saw this, this wick from Bitcoin, and I looked to a coin that I've been shorting a lot, and I saw, a similar wick that, could spell some trouble. So of course I entered, because I'm still up on Bitcoin, and now I'm a little bit up on Matic, and even if I break even on Matic, I'm still up on Bitcoin, and life is still good. So it's all about protecting your money and figuring out what works best for your trading style. So that's what I suggest to everybody. I mean, hedging is difficult, and if you want to ask questions or learn more, definitely join Trade the Chain. We are going, feel free to ask questions at any point in time. I'll go ahead and throw up the website. So we have 14 days free, and that's of course means the community, that means the content, that means the trade ideas and everything else. So if you want to get a piece of what we're doing every single day in the TTC community, then please go ahead and get signed up. And just so you guys are aware, We're not playing games either. I'm gonna go ahead and show you my the Discord from last night when I threw in trade calls to TTC community. So this was 15 minutes before that big drop last night. So I'm short BTC and Matic, looking for 28.8. If we get the sweep, I'll close and look for longs. We did. So I closed, I actually closed Bitcoin and I kept Matic open because I was a little greedy and I liked the support break there. But obviously that got reversed. And this is why we have learning experiences every single day. No, I'm not a perfect trader, and I know there is no such thing as a perfect trader. As you get the directionality right. Sometimes you get the exit a little off. So, sometimes and this is why I'm telling everybody else, don't get greedy. Don't get greedy. Take your money off the table, learn from my mistakes, and be profitable as best you can. So with that being said, good luck, happy trading, and we will see everybody throughout the other TTC shows over the next couple of days. Have a good one.